Good evening, glad that you are watching your channel of choice on TV47 News Tonight. Tonight, veteran journalist body found in Naivasha a month after he went missing. Who killed Gathura Gatonye? Also tonight, Wiper delegates endorse Kalonzo Musyoka's presidential bid. Kalonzo vows to eradicate graft if elected president. Plus, JSC summons former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko over Judge Chitembwe's leaked videos. Sonko to record a statement about the matter within 7 days. Catherine Simaloi is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Our top story and the media industry is in mourning following the death of veteran journalist Gatonye Gathura. Gathura's decomposed body was found by the roadside on the Naivasha Maimayu Road in Naivasha, Nakuru County on the 26th of last month. Our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru begins our broadcast on that sad note.
On 26th of October this year around 4 p.m., police in Naivasha received a call from a group that had visited this area for prayers and discovered the body of a person who was treated as unknown and taken to the Naivasha Sub-County Hospital mortuary.
On 26th of October 2021, at around 16-20 hours, we received an information that there was a dead body found around the KWS, between Kyoto and the KWS area, around something like 200 meters off-road, by people who have gone there for evening prayers. The body was moved and taken to Naivasha Sub-County mortuary. In
the view of establishing the details of the unidentified body that was found dangling on a tree, fingerprints were sent to Nairobi Bureau for analysis by police, and on 23rd November, a positive match from the results was sent to Naivasha.
You remember, we are 47 million Kenyans. Fingerprints are escorted to the National Registration Bureau. They go through all the regions to establish who this person is. It has taken them time to tell us who this body is. Just on 23rd, 2 days ago, is when we got the information about this deceased person.
This information led the DCIO to establish Ndeya's sub-chief in Limuru, who later contacted the family, where 3 brothers visited the Naivasha mortuary Wednesday and positively identified their slain sibling.
And the same day, I escalated the matter to my colleague in Limuru, who assisted me in the tracing for the assistant chief of Ndeya. The assistant chief was able to connect me to the brothers of the deceased, who came yesterday in company of the officer handling the matter or investigating the matter in this office. They went to the mortuary, identified the body as their brothers.
The DCIO has affirmed that the body was moved to a secondary scene at Kehoto area from a primary scene where the actual crime took place.
The physical, he looks well nourished, well dressed, well nourished. Yeah. But it appears the body which might have been dropped there after being killed elsewhere. The scene looks secondary, not primary scene.
The body await autopsy Friday to ascertain the actual cause of death, even as family members, colleagues and friends absorb the saddening news. Reporting for TV47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Elsewhere, the Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutiambai, and the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, have been given an ultimatum of 7 days by the National Assembly Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations to file a written submission on the status of investigations into the murder of Agnes Wanjiru by a British soldier. Mwangi Maina tells us more.
so that we...
There was a heated exchange between members of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, the Director of Public Prosecutions Nuruddin Haji, and the Deputy Director of the DCI when they appeared before the committee for a status report on the progress of the Agnes Wanjiru murder case allegedly perpetrated by British soldiers in Nanyuki 9 years ago.
DCI, or the police for that matter, must give us a concrete flow of information and details of the actions that you have taken.
And you know, Agnes Wanjiru was not in a swimming pool. You know, if it's a swimming pool, you can assume somebody was swimming in front. Unless the police wants to suggest she was swimming in a septic tank. It is obvious she was in a septic tank from day one. There was no even point of an inquest. It was murder.
The DPP told the MPs it took the DCI 4 years to respond to their letter, since the DPP requested for investigations after Wanjiru was murdered in 2012. The DPP, who was not satisfied with the findings of the DCI, ordered for a public inquest, which was concluded in 2019, but the court file went missing after the inquest was concluded. The DPP says they received the file only last year and forwarded it to the DCI for further action, but it's yet to be returned back.
Once the DCI deals with this part, we will expedite the process to ensure that it even gets more attention than what it would have been given.
Between 2012 and 2021, we are still being told we did a letter. Was it responded to? How do we deal with that ping pong in terms of unlocking these issues?
Whether Agnes is a rich person or a poor person, she deserves justice.
Joseph Ashimala, who was representing the DCI boss George Kinoti and Inspector General Hilary Mutiambai, had a difficult time explaining to the MPs the status of the investigations. The MPs accused the DCI of complacency, laxity, and a possible cover-up. Ashimala's submissions were not accepted by the MPs, who demanded for written submissions and appearance of DCI boss and the Inspector General before the committee.
At the time the inquest was going on, it had not occurred to us that it is murder. After the inquest had revealed that it was murder, then fresh investigations were instituted to confirm the murder and now to do the necessary arrests, which is in the process.
If the confession didn't come out to light, then we'll not have been here, we'll not be sitting here. Basically, that's what you are saying, could this be a cover-up?
The DPP told the committee he is waiting for response from the British government on the legal mutual assistance and extradition of British soldiers involved in Wanjiru's murder. As the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Affairs accused the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the ODPP of delaying the Agnes Wanjiru murder case, they are now threatening to rally fellow MPs to reject the Memorandum of Understanding yet to be presented in Parliament of future training endeavors of British soldiers in the country. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwangi Maina, for that report. Moving on. The Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, will on Monday know whether or not he will serve jail term. Justice Anthony Mrima gave the directions after hearing the application by Attorney General Kihara Kariuki, which sought to suspend the decision that convicted DCI boss for contempt over failure to hand over guns to businessman Jimmy Wanjigi. Lawyer Cecily Miller told the court that the orders targeted the wrong party, who is not the custodian of civilian firearms. He added that the civilian firearms are stored by the Chief Firearms Licensing Officer and not the DCI as alleged by Wanjigi. Well, still in the corridors of justice, and judges at the Milimani High Court have declared Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwendwa a free man. This is after the state failed to prefer charges against the 42-year-old within 7 days as directed by senior resident magistrate Wandia Nyamu. The ruling comes as Chinese firm StarTimes pulled out of the broadcasting deal with FKF on grounds that the federation poorly executed their agreement.
Nicholas Kithuku Mwendwa is a free man, at least going by the happenings at the Mlimani Law Courts on Thursday morning. The state closed a miscellaneous file that brought the FKF boss to court over graft allegations at the federation. State prosecutor Evelyn Onunga told the court that they need more time to complete the investigations, while the case remains closed in the meantime.
The reason for the formation of the caretaker committee were the tribulations of Nick Mwendwa before the DCI and the DPP. Then it is now evident that there was no basis whatsoever to disband Nick Mwendwa's duly elected committee and to set up a caretaker committee.
The football honcho was arrested and detained a fortnight ago on allegations of financial impropriety at FKF, the court declaring his detention unlawful.
The recent trend where a person is arrested and arraigned in court within 24 hours, specifically for the prosecution to seek extension of time, to continue to detain such a person without a charge or a holding charge being preferred against such a person is unconstitutional. The police have no authority in law to arrest and detain any person without sufficient grounds. Those grounds can only be sufficient if the police have prima facie evidence which can enable such a person be charged with a disclosed offense.
Senior resident magistrate Wandia Nyamu also ordered that the 4 million shillings cash bail be refunded to the 42-year-old after the state failed to prefer charges against him within 7 days, as directed on Wednesday last week. In a statement by FKF CEO Barry Otieno, Mwendwa was pleased with the court's verdict, vowing to, quote by quote, continue to work towards ensuring that football in Kenya returns to normalcy, end of quote. Top-tier football has been suspended in the country since Wednesday's meeting between the clubs and the committee agreeing on December 4th as the resumption date. But Mwendwa has now filed a petition against the caretaker committee installed by Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed.
Napofahamu kuna kesi iliyoko katika mahakama kuu ambayo Nick Mwendwa ameleta lalama yake dhidi ya kamati iliyobuniwa na waziri wa michezo. Kesi hiyo bado haijasikizwa. Ikiwa itasikizwa na ikiwa itazingatia mambo ambayo tumeyaona leo, basi judge ambaye anasikiza hata kuwa na budi ila kuruhusu maombi ya Nick Mwendwa kutupilia mbali kamati hiyo.
It now remains to be seen how the situation will turn out, given the stand by FKF, existence of a caretaker committee, and an act FIFA that threatens to ban Kenya on grounds of meddling by the government in football matters. Dennis Otieno, TV47.
Moving on, Chief Justice Martha Koome now says she will not leave the Technical Working Committee for Election Preparedness. And as Mike Kagwongo now reports, Koome has told off Deputy President William Ruto's allies who claim that her continued involvement in the committee could interfere with the free and fair elections come 2022.
Speaking in Nandi and Uasin Gishu counties on Wednesday, the leaders said the judiciary has no role to play as far as elections preparedness is concerned.
The preparation of elections is okay, but the stakeholders and players, you must know your rightful place.
The party, through its Secretary General, officially wrote to the Chief Justice Martha Koome, lamenting over her involvement in the election steering committee. Koome, however, insists that her involvement in the committee does not by any means prejudice the independence of the judiciary ahead of next year's polls.
The Judicial Service Act gives me the mandate to be the link for the judiciary with other government agencies and other arms of government. It also creates the National Council on the Administration of Justice, whose mandate is to corroborate and coordinate all the actors in the administration of justice to ensure that at the end of the day we render seamless services.
Deputy President William Ruto's allies asked the CJ to withdraw from the committee and focus on protecting the image of the judiciary.
We want to request that she is the arbiter, she is the natural arbiter, and we want her, when she sits, when these petitions are taken before courts of law, she should assume a position of being an arbiter and a neutral, so that we don't, and you know, Your Excellency, justice should not be done but should be seen to be done.
However, KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has come to the defense of Koome, saying the Chief Justice has every right to be in that committee in order to ensure that the next year's polls are held in a free and transparent manner.
Because if Chief Justice cannot participate, cannot make sure that there will be peaceful election, wait until when people are fighting is when she is called upon to make judgment. When it is too late, this is the right time for Chief Justice to assist and advise both legally and procedurally as per how our elections of next year will be conducted.
Sentiments that were echoed by Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua.
Hayuko hapo kibinafsi, yuko hapo kama chair. And that chair, that National Council of Administrative Justice is part of the system. Na imekuwa hivyo. Na mpangilio wao ni kupanga pesa zitakuwa wapi nini, muda mfupi na kujiondoa. Kazi ya kura itapangwa ni IEBC. Yeye yuko hapo kama chair.
Mike Kagwongo, TV47.
Thank you, Mike Kagwongo, for that report. You're watching TV47 News Tonight. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point. You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to you.
Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to some politics now. And Kitutu Chache Member of Parliament Richard Onyonka has ditched the Ford Kenya party for ODM. Onyonka, who was Ford Kenya's deputy party leader, says he believes in Raila Odinga's leadership. And as Josh Onsare now reports, ODM today received at least 300 defectors at its Chungwa House headquarters here in Nairobi.
Hatutaki chuki, tunataka mapendo. Tuko sawa? Tutatembea pamoja.
ODM leader Raila Odinga's presidential bid received a major boost today after the party received defectors from other parties. Former Ford Kenya deputy party leader Richard Onyonka from Kisii County was received today at Chungwa House together with other 300 defectors from United Democratic Alliance UDA.
Kwa mimi nataka kwanza kuchukua fursa hii kuwakaribisha wale ambao wameingia kwa chama chetu siku ya leo.
Nataka niwakaribishe hapa mlipo ni Dagoretti North. Jumba hili kuu la Chungwa ambalo litatoa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya wa 5 liko katika constituency yangu. Kwa hivyo nawakaribisha sana.
ODM leader Raila Odinga, while addressing the members at Chungwa House, Nairobi, promised free and fair nominations.
Tumekubaliana tume na watu ambao wanawania tikiti kama ya ugavana. Iko kijana yangu huyu Simba. Tuko na Senator Samongeri. Tuko na mama Janet Ongera. Tumekubaliana wote wataenda kwa kiwanja. Sawa sawa? Sawa. Tunataka wanachama waamue.
Further, the former ODM members from Kisii County who left the party due to unfair nominations in the 2017 elections made a comeback, eyeing various elective positions in the next year's polls.
Mzee Raila, hawa viongozi wamekuja hapa si watu wa mchezo. Tumezungumza nao, wanakupenda. Wengine wao waliondoka chama cha ODM kwa sababu ya misukosuko ile kuwepo wakati ya nominations na vitu zingine wakati wa uchaguzi.
The former premier assured the new entrants to the party that ODM is a strong party with leaders who will deliver to Kenyans unlike his competitors.
Tunataka kuona kama chama chetu inanawiri, tunataka Nyanza iwe block completely.
We pray that God gives you the energy and the strength to become the president of this country, because I believe in you.
Josh Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka was today unveiled as the party's presidential flag bearer ahead of next year's general election. In attendance was ODM boss Raila Odinga, who urged Kenyans to unite ahead of the polls. Paul Kirobi has the details.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka was today unveiled as the party's presidential flag bearer ahead of 2022 polls. Kalonzo says he is best placed to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. The ball is now on the presidential hopefuls under the One Kenya Alliance to make a final choice for the next 7 months.
I stand here today to affirm that I will not rest until all the corrupt are in jail and their ill-gotten loot is back in our coffers. Beware of politicians who give cash and empty promises, for there is no such thing as free money.
Kalonzo has promised to fight corruption if elected president in the 2022 elections.
Tutaendelea kutembea pamoja na sisi kama wanaoka. Weta, Kalonzo, Musalia, Gideon, Jirongo, na juzi tumeanza kusungumuza na ndugu zetu kutoka Mlima Kenya.
Tomorrow it was Kalonzo to be the president of Kenya. We know in a coalition agreement, Kalonzo will keep his promises.
I expect you to continue the talk for the sake of this country. it will be in order for us to talk about the issues that will unite us.
Na tunataka IEBC ipewe nafasi ya kutosha na ipewe usaidizi wowote ambao unahitajika ili uchaguzi ambao utakuweko 2022 usiwe uchaguzi ambao utaaibisha wa Kenya na uturudishe kwa njia ambazo hazifai katika taifa letu.
Today's National Delegates Conference comes a day after the OCA principals met to deliberate on the way forward ahead of the 2022 elections. ODM boss Raila Odinga was present at the delegates meeting, where he said he is looking forward to working with the OCA principals ahead of the 2022 general elections.
Hapo Simba ikaja tena kaenda naye. Kwa hivyo tulikuwa hatujapata ile kitu cha kugawanya baadaye yetu. Kalonzo ameenda bure na baba vilevile ameenda bure.
The looming coalitions may either make or break the vision of other presidential flag bearers ahead of next year's polls. OCA principals had hinted on announcing their flag bearer early next year. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, Deputy President William Ruto today took his hustler campaigns to Nakuru County, where he criticized leaders who he says are inciting Kenyans, saying the country will never go back to the dark days of political turmoil. Chichi Josephine reports from Nakuru.
It is a convoy of Deputy President William Ruto during his visit to Nakuru County. Accompanied by leaders from various regions including Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika and Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, among others, Deputy President William Ruto called on Nakuru County residents to support his presidential bid ahead of next year's general elections.
Safari ya kuunganisha Kenya tuliyoanza hapa Nakuru, ambayo iliondoa siasa ya chuki na ukabila na migawanyiko. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie watu wa Nakuru, hiyo safari itaendelea mbele.
Nakuru nani anaingia? Ati nani anaingia? Na niwashukuru sababu watu wa Njoro na Nakuru County mumekubali kuishi kwa amani, si ndio? Na chama cha UDA ni chama cha amani.
The Deputy President said the main agenda of the UDA party and its bottom-up economic model was to ensure youth employment, saying this will ensure better economy.
Nasema tubadilishe uchumi kwanza. Ndio tupange ajira ya hawa watoto wetu. Ndio tupange biashara ya hawa watu wadogo. Ndio tupange kilimo. Mnasema tuanze na uchumi ama katiba? Uchumi. Wale wanakubaliana na mimi tuanze na uchumi, tuanze na uchumi.
Kumbuka tukiwa hapa Nakuru ndio Mheshimiwa William Ruto na Uhuru Kenyatta walishikana na wakasema miaka 10 ya Uhuru na miaka 10 ya nani?
Deputy President William Ruto, however, criticized leaders who spread hate and tribal politics aimed at dividing Kenyans.
Na mimi nataka niwatahadharishe, kuna wanasiasa ambao wamejenga siasa yao kwa uchochezi na kupiganisha watu. Mimi nataka niwaambie hawa wanasiasa, your time is up, and we will not allow you to incite the people of Kenya against one another for your own political selfish benefit.
During Ruto's rally, Molo Member of Parliament Kuria Kimani, who has been a defender of President Uhuru Kenyatta, defected to Ruto's Tangatanga camp.
Mimi nauliza nyinyi, huyu mjumbe wenu afanye kazi na kitendawili ama afanye kazi na hasla? Wale wanasema afanye kazi na hasla nione.
Madhira, a Member of Parliament Rigathi Gachagua, urged Nakuru County residents to support the Deputy President's presidential bid.
Kinyang'anyiro ambayo inakuja mwaka ujao ni kati ya kitendawili na William Ruto. Nyinyi mko pande gani? Mko pande gani? Na
Na mbona hii gavana yenu Lee Kinyanjui anasema atemepanga nyinyi mwende kwa kitendawili? Ni uongo ama ni ukweli?
Deputy President William Ruto addressed various issues affecting the residents and made major commitments, including taking care of fertilizer prices, improving agriculture, as well as issuance of title deeds.
Hapa Nakuru tulikuwa na colleges mbili peke yake ya teknolojia. Lakini leo tumejenga colleges 7 mpya ya teknolojia hapa Nakuru. Ikiwemo Technical Training College yenye tumeweka milioni 100 hapa Njoro.
Chichi Josephine, TV47, Nakuru.
Viongozi
Thank you, Chichi Josephine, for that report. Well, from ODM leader Raila Odinga, who received defectors earlier today at Chungwa House, to Kalonzo Musyoka, who was unveiled as Wiper's presidential candidate ahead of the 2022, to William Ruto taking his hustler narrative to Nakuru County. You're watching the home of unbiased and balanced news. Time for us to take another short break. Stay with us.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists, door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together. Say your point. You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Anaongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to unite. They have always united out of their own volition.
That's loud. Reduce your madness.
Kenyans are suffering.
Would it be fair to conclude?
I don't want your station to be sued. That Jubilee government has never been able to sponsor any successful project.
Every Monday at 9:30 p.m., Pundits Night brings you inclusive and candid conversations with the pundits. many more.
Extra
every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Tasty. 100 anything you want kabisa, like you do not need to add anything.
So the first thing you need as a beekeeper is a beehive.
Yes. Even though I know I won't treat it as such because when I'm engaging the time.
You can handle it. But if you want us to reduce, we can.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, today marks the beginning of the 16 days of gender activism against gender-based violence, where the world campaigns to challenge violence against women and girls. This as women in the country, especially those from the informal settlements, continue to suffer in the hands of abusers. Lavina Tieno reports.
Peace, laughter and normalcy welcomes you to a place that has become a source of hope to victims of gender-based violence in the area, but underneath the smiles are sad tales of sheer violence. The scars, tears and broken jaws on women living in this informal settlement is a clear indication of a monstrosity that has taken root in slums. Mary, not her real name, is a victim of gender-based violence. She was divorced 10 years ago but remarried again with hope that the grass will be greener on the other side. But to her surprise, the happy ever after she hoped for sadly became hell.
Yenye napitia ni ngumu. Juu akinikuta mahali nikiwa na watu kama tumekaa, yeye unifuruta hadi kia nguvu.
A broken lower jaw permanently engraved on her mouth, a clear reminder of one fateful evening that she swears never to forget. Like many other women stuck in marriages with their violent partners, Mary hangs on to the thought that her husband will transform with time. The marriage turned abusive.
Sai anakujanga na nitusi, ananiambia atatupiga hadi hiyo msichana wangu.
She has been forced to move from estate to estate just to escape the abuse and violence she experienced every single day, with some of her neighbors closing the doors that were once open for her.
Mahali kwingine naendanga nafukusa nguo juu yake. Juu lazima akuja tusiane. Sana kujanga wananiambianga tufungie mapema, anakuja na nitusi lakini mwenye ajuagi ati hiyo area.
Completely hurt by the continuous violence, Mary tried to seek help from the area chair lady, whom tried to intervene by holding talks with Mary's husband, but he remained adamant and was later advised to report the case to the local police station.
Sasa mimi nikaenda kwa chair lady wa kijiji, nikamwelezea, nikaenda kwa akaniambia niende post niandikishe. Nilienda nikaandikisha na hakuna kitu alifanywa yoyote.
Her efforts were all in vain, with the police at the station sweeping the matter under the carpet.
Kuambia ule askari nilikuwa kwa nini kwa ombi, aliniuliza kwani wewe ni mtoto hai unataka kusema ati alikufuta kia nguvu.
She then opted to go back home as the officers ignored her case. And it was until things escalated that the local authorities decided to take action, but it was not long until the perpetrator was released.
Amelala kwa kiti na mimi nimelala kwa kitanda. Akaanza matusi tena. Alienda kamwangusha, akapiga huyo msichana kamwangusha, akamkanyanga hadi kwa mgongo. Tukaenda post. Kwenda post alishikwa, alafu kushikwa alimaliza siku 2. Akaachiliwa.
Her nightmare still continues as her husband still abuses her up to date.
Nisaa mimi kenye naogopa ni juu yake ajua, hata sasa yajue atanikuta, atakuja tu aanze matusi hadi kunipiga mbule. Juu yeye aja yake si ati nilipi nyumba. Alafu aende post atoe ngiri 10.
The situation is not different for 24-year-old Helen Nyambura, who also got married with things all rosy at the honeymoon phase of the marriage. It was until her husband was offered a job transfer to work in Kitale for 2 years that things started going sour.
So akakaa for almost 2 years akakuja home. Sasa kumbe venye alikuwa Kitale angekaa hivyo, so alitafuta bibi na kapata mtoi huko, lakini mimi sijui. lakini shushu yake anajua, lakini hawezi niambia.
However, later she reunited with her husband and became pregnant. A pregnancy that she had no idea will change her life completely. After she gave birth, Helen and her husband relocated to Juja, and this is where things began to fall apart. Her husband would beat her every single night.
Sasa kuna jua kumbe maisha nilienda kunigeukia ile kabisa. Ile kunigeukia kabisa. Nilikuwa mpaka nakaa na chapwa. Hadi hapa nakuwa na alama. Sijui kama unaweza iona kuna alama nakuwa hapa.
One day, her husband locked her and their children out of their house just to spend time with his friends.
Alikujanga na marafiki zake, wakanitoanga nje na watoto wangu, au wakaingia ndani. Sasa pia bwana yangu akona mtu kwa nyumba na mimi sijui, mimi nimerushiwa nje. Ati wewe siku hizo umemea pembe, wewe kwani unanijibu? Tukaanza kupigana hapo.
She had nowhere else to go, so she decided to endure the abuse for the sake of her children.
Nimeishi na maisha ya kuenda na kurudi, sijui sina otherwise.
Helen decided enough was enough when her husband poured kerosene on her and locked her and the children inside their home with the intention of burning them alive.
So akanimwagianga mafuta. Akasema nataka tuchomeke huko na watoto wangu na yako nje.
She fled from her matrimonial home to start anew with her children in Kiamaiko, but picking up the pieces was not as easy as she hoped it would be.
Juu umekuja unakaa kwa mtu anapia wewe umemletea mzigo. Kwanza niko na watoto wawili.
According to statistics given by the founder of Shine a Light, Georgina Kawira, at least 4 cases of gender-based violence are reported to her weekly.
Let's say a weekly basis, you wouldn't miss like up to 4 cases.
But in her pursuit for justice for these victims, she encounters hurdles, with the main one being negligence by the gender-based violence desk at the police station.
They don't take cases seriously. At times, if it's a rape case, at times you'll be told you're willing. At times a girl will be told ulijipeleka. At times you'll be told ulikuwa umevaa aje.
This act of negligence has made perpetrators to believe that they can always get away with cases of gender-based violence, with the notion that no action will be taken.
And that perpetrators are getting, they know even if you go to the police station, maybe sometimes they'll go and give out something.
Most of these perpetrators are breadwinners in their families, forcing victims to endure abusive marriages.
If you get out of this marriage, then that means you'll sleep hungry.
Sometimes the cases she receives, in her own words, overwhelming, forcing her to refer them to higher authorities, but most of the victims are scared to pursue justice because of the stigma surrounding gender-based violence.
And you're like, oh God, I want this person taken to court. I want this person to face justice. But not this person and ataishaje kwa society.
Besides the unwillingness from the victims, lack of funds has also proven to be a challenge for her organization, as she tries to help curb the gender-based violence menace in the informal settlement.
Survivor is beaten, or something has happened, and I'm in my house. It's a small house. I don't have somewhere I can take like an immediate rescue place. I can keep this person before now the case, you start up the case from the police station. So you find that if I bring them here in my office, then that means I'll have to feed them. I'll have like the space, this office has to be very secure.
As the world starts to mark 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, this menace still remains rife in Nairobi's second most largest slums, with those bestowed with the power to help these gender-based violence victims negligent of these cases, with these victims left with nowhere else to go to seek justice but remain quiet and persevere in their abusive marriages. Lavin Atieno, TV47.
Now, gender-based violence is one of the most pervasive violations of human rights and a major threat to the advancement of personal growth and development of women and girls across the world. Today, Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, which is marked with 16 days of activism. Our reporter Petronila Goren with the details on how counties celebrated the day.
As the world marks 16 days of activism to stop violence against women and girls, key players in the women's rights issues are hopeful that such cases will be able to stop and women will be able to exercise their rights freely. Residents from different counties in the country hit the street to sensitize the society on the importance of women's rights. This is how things went down.
In Kwale County, human rights organizations in collaboration with residents participated in a peaceful walk exercise in a bid to sensitize the society. According to the Kenya 2019 Violence Against Children survey, worrying trends of increase in physical and sexual violence directed to adolescent girls aged between 13 and 17 was reported. Kwale County is not an exception.
Mimba za mapema ni nyingi sana, ndoa za mapema, wanawake kukosa kurithi, wanawake pia wanarithiwa, wanaume wao wanapoaga.
Tunaongea na jamii kuhamasisha waweze kujitokeza, waweze kuripoti kesi kama hizi kwa sababu zinaendelea. Tukiangazia swala la ndoa za mapema haziongelelewi. Watu tunaona kila siku watoto wanaolewa wakiwa umri mdogo.
Kama vijana sisi wenyewe tungependa kuona kwamba hii jamii yetu inabadilika. Pindi inapofika miaka ya hapo mbeleni, watoto wetu na pia vile vile kina dada zetu hawatapitia dhulma kama hizi.
The same was witnessed in Mombasa County. Human rights activists now want the government to use proper ways to engage GBV victims.
We are advocating for the comprehensive health service of the victims of gender-based violence, especially victims of sexual gender-based violence.
And in Meru County, the residents have called on the county government to come up with rescue centers as a way of saving victims of gender-based violence.
Tungeweza kupata rescue center mahali hawa survivors wangekuwa wanaweza kuenda, wanakaa, wanapata services, wanahudumiwa, wanapitia kufanyiwa counseling, ndio wakiweza kurudi kwa community mahali wametoka nyumbani, wakuwe pia at least wako na nguvu ya kurudi na vile wataweza kujiendeleza.
In Lodwar Turkana County, residents also took to the streets to mark the day. They say teen pregnancies has become a thorn in the flesh.
Around 9,075 teenagers were impregnated in Turkana during the pandemic season, and that statistic placed Turkana among the top 10 in terms of teenage pregnancy during the pandemic.
Amidst challenges, the women rights activists say they will remain committed to the cause to end GBV. They're now calling for relevant authorities to collaborate with them.
Mimba za mapema hususan kwa vijana, tumepata kujua baadhi yao ni wanabodaboda ambao wanaweza kuwapachika mimba wasichana wa shuleni kwa sababu pengine ya kukosa sodo za kutumia wakati wanapofika katika miezi yao.
Bado kuna changamoto kubwa sana kwa sababu government haijaweka pesa mingi sana kufanya hamasa kwa watu sana sana nyanjani.
Judiciary at large waweze pia kuharakisha ama wawe na siku ya kusikiza kesi hizi za kidhuluma za kijinsia, kwa sababu wakati mwingine zinachukua wakati mrefu, unapata hata mara evidence imepotea.